When did we become okay with this? When did it become acceptable for survival to depend on a crowdfunding campaign? When did the richest nation on earth decide that begging strangers for money was a substitute for healthcare? Let's be clear. This isn't normal. This isn't inevitable. It's a symptom of a country and a system that is fundamentally broken. The Enlightenment gave us the foundation for modern civilization. It taught us to value reason, evidence, and the inherent dignity of every human being. It gave us the idea that society exists to serve its people, not just the privileged few. So how the hell did we end up here? In a system where your ability to survive illness depends on how good you are at marketing your tragedy. Let's start with the basics. Healthcare is a right, not a privilege, not a commodity. A right. This isn't just an ideal. It's a moral imperative. The Enlightenment thinkers, Voltaire, Rousseau, Locke, they argued that a just society must prioritize the well-being of its citizens, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's the promise. But how can you pursue happiness when you're drowning in medical debt? How can you value life when you're forced to choose between treatment and bankruptcy? Now let's talk about GoFundMe, a platform that was never designed to be a healthcare provider, but has become one out of sheer necessity. Over a third of all campaigns on GoFundMe are for medical expenses. Think about that. A third. That's millions of people turning to the internet, not for convenience or charity, but because the system has failed them. This isn't progress. This isn't innovation. It's a damning indictment of a system that prioritizes profits over people. And who profits from this failure? The health insurance companies, the pharmaceutical giants, the hospitals charging obscene amounts for basic care. They've built a system where suffering is profitable, where every illness, every accident, every crisis is an opportunity to squeeze a little more out of the people who can least afford it. This isn't just unethical. It's anti-enlightenment. It's betrayal of the idea that society should work for the many, not the few. The irony is that we have the resources to fix this. Universal healthcare isn't some utopian dream. It's a reality in almost every other developed country. They've figured it out. They've built systems that prioritizes care over profit. And they're spending less per capita to do it. So why haven't we? Because the people in power, the ones profiting off this broken system, don't want change. They've spent decades convincing us that universal health care is too expensive, too radical, too complicated. They've turned us against each other, making us argue over crumbs while they hoard the feast. This is the challenge of our time. The Enlightenment taught us to challenge authority, to question systems that don't serve us, to demand better. That's what we need now. To reject the idea that survival should depend on charity. To dismantle the system that has turned healthcare into a luxury. To build something better, something just. But this isn't just about healthcare. It's about values, about who we are as a society and who we want to be. Do we value life or do we value profit? Do we care about each other or are we content to let the vulnerable fall through the cracks? Because right now, GoFundMe isn't just a symptom, it's a mirror. And what it's showing is a system that has abandoned its most basic responsibilities. It doesn't have to be this way. We have the tools. We have the resources. What we need is the will. the courage to demand better. The vision to build a system where healthcare isn't a crowdfunding campaign, but a fundamental right, where the promise of the Enlightenment, of reason, justice, and progress isn't just a relic of the past, but a blueprint for the future. So let's stop pretending this is normal. Let's stop accepting a system that forces people to beg for their lives. Let's fight for the healthcare system we deserve. Because until we do, we're not just failing the Enlightenment, we're failing ourselves.